In this episode of Falmouth in Focus, we check in with Chief Dunne about the new distracted driving law, stop by the Sea Crest for the annual Martin Luther King breakfast, and visit the Happy Hope Factory as they prepare to spread hope and happiness to hospitalized children nationwide. All this and much more on this edition of Falmouth in Focus.
Hello and welcome to Falmouth in Focus, FCTV's current affairs program. I'm your host, Michael KASPARIAN. Massachusetts is the latest New England state to roll out a new hands-free law that's intended to thwart distracted driving. Falmouth Police Chief Edward Dunne discusses the timeline and details about the new law, which prohibits the use of electronic devices while driving, with a few exceptions.
Hi, I'm Chief Edward Dunne of the Falmouth Police Department, and I'm going to talk about the new hands-free law that's going to take effect on February 23rd, 2020. Anybody violating that new law for the first month will receive a warning until March 31st. It's an educational period for everybody to get used to the new law. Basically what the new law says is no one operating a motor vehicle can hold a handheld device, tablet, phone. The phone needs to be connected in a hands-free mode through the automobile. The only thing that is allowed as far as viewing is a mobile app for navigation system, which can be viewed through the phone, but the phone needs to be attached to the windshield, dashboard, or through the navigation system of the car. That can be viewable. If you are caught violating the law, it's $100 for the first violation, $250 for the second violation, $500 for the third and subsequent violation. The third and subsequent violations will be a surcharge on your insurance. If you need to use the phone in an emergency, the only thing that is allowed is if you are out of the travel lane, meaning if you're on a highway and you are in the breakdown lane, you can use the phone. The phone can't be used at a stoplight or a stop sign or anything like that. You're considered in the travel lane and it is a violation. The reason the Commonwealth passed this law is driving a motor vehicle, again, people with the phones, their focus seems to be on the conversation and not on the driving. Throughout the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, there have been many fatal accidents. There's been many accidents here in the town of Falmouth involving people texting and driving and on their phones, such as driving off the road, hitting trees, hitting poles, hitting other cars. And we've even had some that have been involved in pedestrian accidents. So the new hands-free law is to keep everybody safe.
Thank you, Chief. It's important to be aware of upcoming laws that can have an effect on us all. And thank you to Jeff Wyman for bringing us all this information. It's time now for three things from Town Hall, FCTV's condensed version of the takeaways from recent municipal meetings. Selections are chosen based on community impact.
The Falmouth Affordable Housing Committee gave a report to the Select Board in their last meeting. The committee reported having an almost full complement of members for the first time in several years and discussed their housing production plan. The committee reported feeling positive about the amount of affordable housing being added to Falmouth, with projects such as the ones located at Spring Bars Road, Gifford Street, and Brickkiln Place.
The report that I did just mentions it. We have an interview coming up next on the agenda, and if that candidate is appointed to the committee, it'll give us a full 7 members for the first time since I've been on the committee, almost 8 years ago. It's great, a step forward, I think. Since a year and a half or so ago, we didn't have enough members to even have meetings. We couldn't get a quorum. So the interest in affordable housing and the interest in our citizens in participating in the committee has been great, and the support of the selectmen and town staff has been great.
The board also read through the warrant for the upcoming spring town meeting in April. As usual, the board grouped several articles together to be voted upon and added to this spring's warrant. The board also pointed out Article 14 specifically for an individual vote, as it is the article which would add 8 new fire rescue personnel to the operating budget and to clarify the meaning of the article. 49 articles were voted to be printed on this spring warrant. The board will make their recommendations at a future meeting.
Okay, Article 14. See if the town will vote to appropriate a sum of money for the purpose of hiring 8 additional firefighters for fiscal year 2021, contingent upon voter approval of Proposition 2.5 override, a ballot question.
I think that's worth voting on separately, and I would move approval to include that in the warrant.
Second.
All those in favor?
Do we want to have any discussion about that, just because a question did come up at this evening about the effect of that, and that does not guarantee staying the West Falmouth Fire Station open.
Well, it's a separate issue, but
right.
Certainly it's for the same cause of improving fire safety in town.
But, you know, that's not something that we have to settle tonight.
I agree.
Therefore, I think that's something we defer to town meeting to actually work out if they want to see some variation of this.
An instructor from the Citizens Planning Training Collaborative met with members of the Falmouth Zoning Board and Planning Board last week to help educate the boards on a wide variety of responsibilities, details, and concerns that often need to be addressed by members of these boards. Some of the highlights of the presentation included powers and duties of each of the boards, rules and regulations, open meeting law, public records law, and conflict of interest.
There's nothing in this presentation about your specific bylaws. Nothing. This is an overview of the statutory scheme for planning boards and boards of appeal.
To see the meetings in their entirety, check out Government Channel 15's program schedule at fctv.org. It's now time for our calendar segment. Stop by the Falmouth Public Library on February 12th at 11:30 a.m. for a program titled Strategies for Seniors to Make Life Easier. Representatives from the VNA Occupational Therapy Team and Eastman's Hardware will be on hand to share advice about groovy gadgets that can make life easier and safer. On February 18th, from noon to 6 p.m., the Marine Lodge of Falmouth will be sponsoring a blood drive at the John Wesley United Methodist Church. Every pint of blood donated stays on Cape Cod to serve your community and help save the lives of your family, friends, and neighbors. All donors will receive a Cumberland Farms gift certificate. Black History Month concludes with the annual Harambe celebration at the Huey-Quisset campus on February 27th at 5:30 p.m. Join this ethnic feast to celebrate everyone of every race, and please bring a potluck dessert to share. Go to woodsholediversity.org to learn about more events celebrating Black History Month at the Woods Hole Scientific Institutions. Here at the Falmouth Community Media Center, our Winter Animation Camp programs will be held from February 18th through February 21st. Children ages 6 to 14 will learn how to make short animated videos using claymation stop-motion techniques in morning and afternoon sessions. Check out fctv.org for registration information. Also here at Studio A, our open mic series, Poetic License, will resume after a one-month hiatus on Thursday, February 27th at 7 p.m. Stop by for another night of fun with entertainment provided by you and your friends and neighbors. Sign up begins at 6:30 p.m. Check out fctv.org for more information. And finally, this month's artist at the gallery at FCTV is Tara Vargas Wallace, who will be displaying works of abstract liquid art in a show titled Life in Color from February 9th through March 4th. We're going to take a quick break to check out an adoptable cat from People for Cats. And when we return, we'll stop by the Sea Crest Beach Hotel for the annual Martin Luther King National Holiday Community Breakfast. Stay with us.
Pearl is a beautiful black domestic short-hair female. This lady is 3 3/4 years of age and sports a shiny all-black fur coat accentuated with big, expressive green eyes. She's a tad shy, but rapidly warms up and adores attention. She also likes hugs and likes to climb onto your shoulder or back. Pearl came to PFC when her previous owner was moving and couldn't take her along. She's a love bug and will make a lucky person a great companion. Why not come in and see if she's a good fit for your family? Contact People for Cats at 508-540-5654 or go to peopleforcats.org.
Welcome back. On Monday, January 20th, the Sea Crest Beach Hotel was the site for the 13th annual Martin Luther King Community Breakfast, hosted by No Place for Hate, Falmouth. Dr. King's legacy was honored by more than 300 guests, enjoying live music, song, and words from guest speaker Donique R. McIntosh.
Hi, my name is Reverend Nell Fields. I'm with the McCoy Congregational Church. Today I serve as a member of the steering committee of No Place for Hate, and we are putting on an incredible community event. It is our 13th annual Martin Luther King Jr. Community Breakfast. And I want to emphasize the word community because that is what this breakfast is all about. Bringing people together from all walks of life to celebrate the life and the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King.
We had 300 people, a full capacity at this year's annual MLK National Holiday Community Breakfast. We heard from and were inspired by children who recited Dr. King's words so beautifully and in unison and sang.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed.
And we heard from Dr. Donique McIntosh, who inspired us through her reflections on Dr. King's words.
Published in 1958, Dr. King wrote in it that the problem of race is America's greatest moral dilemma. And I would amend his statement by saying that racism is America's greatest moral dilemma. Race by itself is neutral. It's just a difference between us. Racism, however, is a difference with value attached to it that has real impact on people's lives. Dr. King made this claim 62 years ago, and sadly, it's still true.
When we talk about the fight for social justice, it's not in the past. It's not something where we can really take our foot off the gas. It is real, it is now, and it is about the quality of life, human dignity, and in some cases really about life and death.
It's days like this that bring us together to remind us who we really are and what it is like for a country to have a desire for togetherness and for peace and for social justice.
People, arm in arm, shoulder to shoulder, yellow, brown, black, white, working together, we will accomplish and make sure we take his actions, his words of today, and take them, as he said, to the mountaintop.
I just want to say it's such a pleasure to be part of a community like Falmouth and the other surrounding communities and see an outpouring of support for an occasion like this. I actually participated in the Poor People's March on Washington, D.C. that Jesse Jackson organized. So when I sing "We Shall Overcome," you know, I just get teary-eyed because all those memories come back. My hat's off to No Place for Hate for organizing this event and giving us all that inspiration to keep seeking a better world.
We shall overcome someday.
Samantha Bauer and her organization, Inspiration is Everywhere, was honored with the No Place for Hate Civic Leadership Award during the morning's events. Thanks to Marilyn Rowland and Andrew Richards for that coverage. For the past 9 years, the Falmouth Jewish Congregation and the Wacoit Congregational Church have co-sponsored a wonderful charity event around the time of the NFL Championship called, appropriately, the Super Bowl. The event is a lunch featuring homemade soups with bread and desserts, hence the name. We stopped by to see how it went.
Welcome to the annual Super Bowl here at Falmouth Jewish Congregation, co-sponsored with the Wacoit Congregational Church. There are 4 fabulous soups. 2 of them are vegan. I think you'll enjoy all of them. We also have a wonderful raffle with potter's bowls and wood bowls that have been handmade, that have been donated by local artisans.
This Super Bowl Sunday is an annual event By our calculations, I was speaking with Reverend Fields, we think this is the 9th year that we've done this collaboratively. It was intended and has remained a fundraiser for the Falmouth Service Center. And we're especially mindful of our beloved Brenda Swain, director of the Service Center, who is dealing with some health challenges, and we're all very mindful of her today.
Hi, I'm Cindy Decker, and I'm from McCoy Congregational Church, and I chaired our effort to participate in the Super Bowl. And this is the 9th annual year that the Jewish congregation has hosted this wonderful benefit for the Falmouth Service Center. And I contributed some soup, and we've been serving, and we've got some lovely Girl Scouts here who are helping to bus and do whatever we need them to do.
Hi, my name is Celia, and I'm here to help the Jewish congregation who is hosting this event by setting up trays and busing and things like that.
All of us are part of a Girl Scout troop, and for our troop we do a lot of volunteer work, and so this was one of the things that was optional, but a lot of us came, and it's been very fun.
Today we had on the menu tikka masala, a delicious minestrone soup, chili, and of course chicken soup, and all seem to be equally popular. The soups are cooked by members of our respective congregations, so it is literally a homemade soup. The desserts are donated by various local organizations, Roche Brothers, Panera Bread, and possibly some others.
I like being involved in something like this because it's a good way to help the community, and it's a fun way to help the community.
All funds raised by the Super Bowl in Wacoit benefit the Falmouth Service Center, and as you could see, it was a capacity crowd. Thanks to Tony Sedera for that story. The Happy Hope Factory is a special place where volunteers called Hope Heroes come to assemble Happy Hope activity bags and create personalized greeting cards for children hospitalized with chronic or life-threatening illnesses and disabilities. FCTV joined the community volunteers for this special event on the Martin Luther King Day of Giving.
So this is the Happy Hope Factory. It's a place where communities come to do good, give back, and our mission is to serve hospitalized children nationwide who need a boost of hope who are in the hospital. So the vision started when I was 6 years old, making hospital rounds with my dad, who's a pediatrician. And as I trailed behind him, I noticed that there were lots of children who weren't going home, children who would spend months and weeks in the hospital, who didn't have that extra boost of hope. And I knew it didn't take a lot, just a simple pack of crayons or Play-Doh to truly change their perspective and bring them hope. It wasn't until we had our third son, Connor, who is profoundly disabled, that I realized we had to do something. So the Happy Hope Factory has been a 501c3 charity since 2011. Our goal is to one day serve every single child who's in a hospital bed, from the emergency room to children who are in palliative care. We want every child to know that their community cares.
Today, we've been a really exciting day because we've had over 100 volunteers. At the end of today, we will have had 100 plus volunteers for our Martin Luther King Day of Giving. Everybody is here, they're all together in either groups or separated, and they're putting together little components that we're going to probably serve 2,500 children today.
So our folks today are packaging a boost of happiness. They could be packaging lip balm, they could be packaging socks, because we tell children in the hospital that they never walk alone, crayons, Play-Doh. There's a whole assortment of components, and we tell everyone that every single item that goes into a Happy Hope bag has a purpose. For instance, bubble and pinwheels help children with anesthesia, going in and out with a little bit of extra fun and a whole boost of hope.
So what I do is I come up with different themes for every month. As you can see, this is March, and this is our Hope Travels bag. So every bag comes with a placemat or an activity mat for the child in the hospital to complete and enjoy. It always comes with a specific craft geared towards that theme. Bubbles, crayons, a pinwheel, which is also helpful for like a breathing tool. More toys are on the back, and then they always come with a headband that our volunteers assemble for the child.
We have volunteers of every age, every skill level, and we really need that. We have schools. Bourne High School is here today. Tabor Academy. We've got Falmouth High School, Wareham High School, St. John Paul, a number of schools, Lawrence School, lots of schools in the area, which is just really exciting for them. They come in and get volunteer hours, but most of all, they really, really love to volunteer here because it's so rewarding and so cheerful. I've got a number of special needs kids from the local schools and adult programs, and they are just wonderful. They come in on a very frequent basis, sometimes just weekly. We really love a diversified volunteer force.
Our goal is to serve 1 million children over the next 2 years. We just crossed 500,000 children, and the ultimate goal is really to serve every single child in every hospital bed nationwide.
To learn more about how you can help out this special organization, go to their website, happyhopefactory.org. Thanks to Eileen Preston and Andrew Richards for that coverage. We'll be back after a quick break to hear about a special program that helps residents in need pay for their winter heating fuel and energy bills. Stay with us. Welcome back. The Good Neighbor Energy Fund has provided energy assistance to hundreds of thousands of residents since the fund started 35 years ago.
So the Good Neighbor Energy Fund is a consortium of energy companies and their customers that help contribute to help customers who are undergoing a financial stress and help them with their energy bills. There are quite a few people who end up falling through the cracks with regard to receiving or being eligible for state or local assistance during the winter months. So for people that don't necessarily qualify for state or local aid or federal aid, the Good Neighbor Energy Fund is there to offset some of their financial stress. So if you don't qualify for like self-help or some kind of other fuel assistance, then Good Neighbor Energy Fund is there to kind of help pick up the pieces. So in order to be eligible, you have to fall in a certain range, income range. It's typically between 60 and 80% of the state median income range. So if, you could look online at the website www.magoodneighbor.org, and it'll show you these income ranges for families of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you could check there and see if you qualify. The Salvation Army helps us administer the fund. We do need somebody to do a lot of the bookkeeping and things, so Salvation Army graciously does that for us, and we are a 501c3. So one way to give is a lot of the times your energy bill will include a green envelope that's got the Salvation Army address on it. So if you see that green envelope, that's for the Good Neighbor Energy Fund to help for donations. So that's one way. Another way is go to the Good Neighbor Energy Fund site, and that's at www.magoodneighbor.org, and you can go there and donate online. Also, I know some online bill payments, if you go to your energy company's online bill payment system, if you use that, sometimes at the bottom it'll say check or click here to donate $1 to Good Neighbor Energy Fund. So that's another way to donate as well. We have big sponsors that like National Grid and Columbia Gas, Liberty Utilities, also Eversource are big sponsors and support the Good Neighbor Energy Fund, along with a lot of other companies and energy companies in the area that also support and donate nicely to us. It's a nice resource for those who may not be eligible for state or local or federal aid, and we're certainly here to hope we can alleviate some of the financial stress that people undergo during the winter months.
The Good Neighbor Energy Fund is now open to all eligible households, so go to their website, magoodneighbor.org, for more information. Thanks to Alan Russell for that report. 1 in 6 children on Cape Cod are food insecure, and many of these school-age children are often dependent on free meal programs at their local schools. The Cape Kids Meals Program was created to help provide food for children during weekend days during the school year.
So Cape Kids Meals Program is a program that's Cape-wide at this point. We're members of the Rotary Club of Falmouth, 3 other groups, the VIPS Board, the Falmouth Senior Center, and the Wacoit Congregational Church are all involved. We give a lot of kudos to Quarterdeck because Quarterdeck Restaurant every week supplies 60 orange and apples gratis to us, which is awesome. The program itself is in all 4 of the elementary schools, North Falmouth, T-Ticket, East Falmouth, and Mullen Hall. So the adjustment counselors and the staffs of all 4 of the elementary schools identify students who are nutritionally challenged. And these are children that just don't have enough food on weekends. So it's a Cape-wide program, as I mentioned, and started back in September. We pack every Thursday. The food is delivered on Friday mornings. So the teachers in all of the elementary schools, the adjustment counselors, know the children, they know the backpacks. So after the volunteers, the 4 different groups of volunteers are packing the food bags themselves, the adjustment counselors are placing a white bag inside the students' backpacks. They go home, and this gives the nutritionally challenged students food for the weekend. Everything is donated. So I think certainly as far as keeping children safe, the idea of having enough food, and particularly nourishing food. You know, there's an orange, there's an apple, there's fruit juice, there's some sort of pasta, there's mac and cheese, and there's fun things too, you know, snacks of that. So at least we know that starting Friday night until Monday morning, these children who, you know, need good nutritious food are getting food that they have for their family as well. And program started with about 55, we're up to 63 now, and we see the numbers rising very gradually, and certainly the opportunities are there to continue to expand the program. But what we also are doing too is anytime there's a long weekend, vacation week, before the holiday vacation, we do the packing, but instead of a small peanut butter, there's a larger peanut butter like this. Instead of a smaller mac and cheese, there's a larger box of mac and cheese. So that might not take them through the whole week, but it certainly helps with that large jar of peanut butter and, you know, the large box of mac and cheese. Falmouth joined the program last year. Tracy Crago and Andrade Geisiger of VIPS are heavily involved in the program itself, and it's been just an awesome experience for us. And certainly the responses we get back from the administrators, the teachers, the adjustment counselors couldn't be greater with the benefits that the students are getting out of this. It's just an absolutely great program.
To learn more about the program, go to capekidsmeals.org. Thanks to Ryan Weber for that story. FCTV wants you to know that television can be as easy as hitting record on your smartphone. We'd like to invite all Falmouth residents and visitors to share their slice of life with us. Email us your photos and videos or upload them to Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram using the hashtag MyFalmouth or Falmouth in Focus to be featured on the show. Thank you to our most recent contributors. We leave you now with more sights and sounds from the annual Martin Luther King Breakfast at the Sea Crest, featuring students from the Morse Pond School. Thank you for watching Falmouth in Focus. We'll see you next time.
I see